From our first settlers to our new Americans, see how the dead have been honored and the living have been terrified, right now on Columbus Neighborhoods.
Support for Columbus Neighborhoods is provided by
At American Electric Power, we've been proud sponsors of WOSU Public Media for many years and strong supporters of our headquarters city here in Columbus, both downtown and in neighborhoods like yours.
State Auto Insurance Companies, serving customers and communities for nearly a century. Today, a technology and transformation company. Risk takers, creators, innovators. A company defined not by its history, but by its people. State Auto. The Columbus Foundation. Smart philanthropy for a smart city. ColumbusFoundation.org. Bailey Cavalieri. Your relationship with your law firm doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be right. CODA. Keeps our community moving forward. Falgren Mortine Marketing and Communications. Think wider. Ohio Health focuses on you and your family with a mission to improve the health of our communities. And by contributions from these and other Columbus area families who support WOSU. Thank you.
Around the world, most cultures have a time of year when they honor their dead.
Day of the Dead in Mexico is centuries old, and in France, there's a new tradition called the Parade of Ghosts and Ghouls.
And in Columbus, even the neighborhoods have different traditions.
Bryden Road was the luxury place of our neighborhood. They had big homes and they were usually up on a hill, and we always went there on Halloween because we knew we would get something really good. Sometimes they'd give us apples, sometimes a piece of pumpkin pie, candy. So that was the first place we ever went when we went trick-or-treating, because we knew that those people would give us something. And a lot of times they'd ask us to come in and sing for them or do something for them, you know. And we didn't have any fears. We went in, we'd sang a song or told them a poem, just had conversation with them.
Around Halloween, Grandview Business Association would pool a lot of money together and bought tempera paint. And all the school kids at Grandview, starting from about the 4th grade on up, they'd be assigned a window on Grandview Avenue or 1st Avenue. And you paint Halloween scenes on the windows, and they had judging.
I think it was just something to keep us out of trouble and keep us busy and get us to commune. It was our social media of the time to make statements and to be creative on the merchants' windows.
Always had a festive time at Halloween, and the street was closed and had a parade of costumes, and it was very small town oriented.
Can we show them the ghost story now?
I do believe it's time.
This one's from Walhalla Ravine up in Clintonville.
All neighborhoods have their stories, their haunted houses, their favorite places where little children like to get scared, and Clintonville is no exception. It has probably one of the most famous of the ghost stories ever told in Columbus in modern times, and it has to do with Walhalla Ravine. Perhaps it's because it was a pathway on the Underground Railroad, or maybe it's because the houses are perched up high and the lights just sort of twinkle down mysteriously in the ravine. But for people who pass by and people who walk through at night, they often say they feel something watching them, something coming after them, and inevitably all the stories lead back to the same place, to a house that's perched on the top of the Calumet Bridge. There are legends of a man who comes home, Mr. Mooney, from working at Ohio State University. And he's taken the streetcar up High Street and gotten off at the bottom of the ravine and making the long walk up the hill to his house, which was peaked over the top of the Calumet Bridge. Here, life seems to be very normal. Children are playing in yards, people are getting ready for dinner. But something goes very wrong in the Mooney house that night. Mr. Mooney murders his wife and his daughter. The story usually is that he stabbed them multiple times and that he cut off his wife's head and he either kicked it or threw it down into the Walhalla Ravine, where it rolled all the way down the ravine, probably almost to High Street itself. Mr. Mooney, in his grief, commits suicide and hangs himself off the Calumet Bridge. So over the years, the story gets embellished and children tell the story and everybody adds a few more details. And every year there's some little expeditionary force of children that go off to find out if the story's true, if the ghost is there. But the stories seem to kind of be frozen in time by the 1980s with the very final version that's ever told. Two young boys trudge up the ravine to see what they're going to see. And they walk up the ravine to the bottom of the Calumet Bridge and look up on the hill where they're hoping to see the Mooney Mansion with the blue light in the attic, which supposedly glows whenever there is some ghostly activity going on. The boys look up at the house. They're startled, and then they hear a rustling. They hear something in the bushes, something getting louder and louder, something that's kind of rolling just right toward them. And they run as fast as they can, down to High Street, down to safety, down to the streetlights. When the one boy turns around, his friend isn't there. He's gone, he's vanished, never to be seen again.
And here's a word about Curious Sea Bus.
Craft beer is big in Columbus. Ever wonder how we ranked alongside big brewing cities like Portland? Find out about that story and more at Curious Sea Bus, where you submit a question online, and if voters agree, we report the story together. Look for stories, submit a question, or log on for a voting round at wsu.org/curious.
Mexican cultures honor their deceased loved ones with flowers and altar gifts, and of course, fresh baked treats. We sent Javier up to 161 to find an authentic Mexican sweetbread for the Day of the Dead.
We're on the north side today at Panaderia Guadalupana, the only independent Mexican bakery in Columbus. We're talking to owner Fernando Angeles about Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. The holiday is full of celebrations and food to honor the memories of loved ones. Okay, so what do we have here?
Well, it's what they call it the bread of the dead. Why is probably the most popular? Because you see it's a round shape that for the people means the circle of the life. What you see here in the top, they represent the little bones.
Pan de Muerto is a sweetbread traditionally made with orange zest and anise seeds. The bread is left on graves and altars so that the recently departed can receive nourishment during their journey to the other side. It's great in slices with jam or just plain butter. Panaderia Guadalupana has a great variety of breads and pastries. Pan dulce or sweet buns and conchas or sweetbreads are baked fresh daily. Try the empanadas too, stuffed pastries with chicken, pork, beef, and even strawberries. So why is Dia de los Muertos such an important holiday?
It's the only day that the loved ones have in the year to come back and visit their families. They are so excited to wait for these people and celebrate, and the way to celebrate is offer their favorite meats, their favorite fruits, their favorite drinks.
Now, do people believe that their family members actually come back from the dead, or is it a myth?
But in my opinion, it's more like a symbolic thing. You know, when you have 120 million people doing the same thing at the same time for the same idea, you can feel that good vibration around the you know, your people, your loved ones, about the ofrenda. And you never go see these people sit down with you and enjoy the dinner, but you really believe that they are there to visit you.
Tell me more about the offerings that are on the altar for the Day of the Dead.
Every family do their own special thing. The salt is very important because in our beliefs, in the end, we are like a salt, part
Like
of the
salt of the earth.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
The candles are, you know, to show to the people the way to go back home. So they have some light to find their houses. The water, the people believe they are so thirsty because it takes sometimes, we don't know how long, to come back. So they need to have some water. The flowers and the incienso is also to bring it back, because flowers and incienso, especially this type of flower, they have a strong, very strong flavor, aroma. The favorite sweets, the favorite drinks, and every single thing is dedicated for one of the members of the family. You know, the loved ones, they're not here no more.
Whatever makes them feel
Yeah.
like they're welcome to come home.
And exactly, the favorite toy for the little boy, the favorite hat for the uncle, the favorite tequila for your grandfather. Yeah.
So how do you keep your family traditions alive here now that you're living in the Midwest?
Okay. To be honest with you, unfortunately, I'm here myself. So it's very sad, you know, see the years going, and I don't have this experience with my family for the last 50 years. I think so my little contribution to the tradition and the culture is make the best bread of the dead that we can make here in this bakery for the people that really follow the traditions.
Why was that important to you?
Because you need to keep your traditions and your culture together, because if no, we don't have any values at all. So the traditions are values, so that's part of the human beings.
And how long have you been baking? How long has this been important to you, been a part of your life?
Honestly, I have the business for like almost 6 years. I'm not a baker. It's crazy, I know. I just start this because in that time I need to do something, and I'm looking to do some business. And I just come with this idea, and everything start from there. Now I know a little bit of everything, but I'm not a master baker at all.
All right, well, it was a great idea, and we're all glad you did it.
It's a lot of work.
Asking the spirits to join us in the here and now is a human impulse that goes back thousands of years.
Over at the Ohio History Connection, we got to look at how prehistoric humans connected to the spirit world.
Brad, we're about to see one of your favorite items here, so I'm intrigued. What is it?
It's a stone sculpture of a Hopewell medicine man, or perhaps a medicine woman. It's called the Ray figurine, but that simply commemorates the fact that a guy named Charles Ray once owned it. I prefer to call it the Shaman of Newark, because it situates this individual in the context in which it was recovered. It was found in the bottom of the largest burial mound at the center of the burial mounds at the Newark Earthworks.
What's that tell you?
That tells you that this individual that it represents, perhaps, that's certainly the person that it was buried with, was at the very foundations of one of the greatest pieces of architecture in America.
Well, what is it? Tell me about it. Show it to us.
Well, you'll notice it doesn't sit upright. It has to lay down. It's not made to sit on a flat surface to be presented in an exhibit. I think
it's meant to be held. And I think it's probably a storytelling object. And you'll see that it's a human. There's no sexual characteristics that allow us to tell whether it's a man or a woman. And in American Indian ceremonial life, both men and women in different tribes can wear bear regalia, so it could be either one. But it's a person wearing bear regalia, a bear's head on their head, bear claws on their hands, what appears to be a decapitated human head in their lap, but the left hand there is on the side of the bear mask or the bear regalia, and I believe it's represented in the very act of transforming from human to bear and back again. That's why I refer to it as a shaman. And if you're telling the story of it, you can make it transform into a bear and back. It depends on what part of the story you're in. And in a way, I think this is an early form of cinema that allows you to animate the figure while you're telling the story, to depict, to show the very transformation that it represents.
How old is it?
It's 2,000 years old, belongs to the Hopewell culture.
And is this stone that's carved, or is it clay that was molded?
This is stone that was carved in this way. When it was freshly carved, it would have been a brighter yellow than this. It's weathered to this beautiful brown. And we do find Hopewell burials where a person is interred and a skull, a decapitated human head, is buried with them. Now, in later American Indian cultures, that might be an enemy that they've killed, and it's a trophy skull. And many of these skulls from Hopewell sites were called trophy skulls. But this isn't a warrior, this is a priest. I believe these are ancestors, that it's a form of ancestor worship. If you were an important person in Hopewell society, when you died, perhaps they decapitated you and kept your head. So this is almost like a photograph, or it may be almost like a photograph of a ceremony that was being performed at Newark 2,000 years ago.
This is an amazing object.
The past never gives itself to you as fully as it does in an image like this.
One of the first ghost stories in Columbus originated right here at the North Market.
It started with the city's first cemetery, which is roughly right beneath our feet. Historian Ed Lentz tells us the story.
I mean, my favorite ghost story deals with North Market, simply because North Market is the site of the Old North Graveyard. Basically, John Kerr, the second mayor of Columbus and one of the 4 proprietors of Columbus, ends up giving a plot of land immediately outside the city limits, which at that time was Nationwide Boulevard, just on the north side of town, to forever be a cemetery. That small plot that he gives the city is expanded to become a 10-acre cemetery along the High Street corridor that serves as the Old North Graveyard from 1813 down, well, depending on how you want to count the years, either 1856 when it's initially closed to 1873 when it's finally closed for the last time. The problem with closing it down, city officials found, was that a lot of that land was given to the city with the idea that it would perpetually be used as either a cemetery or for some other public use. Well, no longer wishing to keep it a cemetery, city officials had to find another public use. Eventually they found one with North Market. The North Market will essentially replace much of what is the Old North Graveyard site. So from 1856 on, persons are encouraged to remove family members or other friends to another location. From 1848 on, in many cases, that's Green Lawn Cemetery on the south side of town. There's also Union Cemetery on the north side of town. There's even the old Franklinton Cemetery over in the Franklinton area if you're interested in those kinds of things. But the general idea was to try to get that cemetery emptied. They didn't. Roughly about half the people we think buried in that cemetery are still there. That includes John Kerr, by the way, the second mayor of Columbus. And there's every reason to indicate that Jarvis Pike, the first mayor of Columbus, is probably buried there too. This may help explain why on diverse Halloween nights, sometimes in the fog, if one looks occasionally from time to time, it's been reported, you can see a fellow walking along near the north side of the North Market, dressed in the style of 1813. Is it John Kerr? Is it Jarvis Pike? Or is it somebody else?
The story of Dr. Frankenstein was roughly modeled after a physician who dug up bodies.
It was a common practice in the 1800s for medical schools to study the recently dead to learn about the human body.
Columbus had its own grave robber, and producer Cindy Gaylord gives us the story with an update on current practices in the study of human anatomy.
The first medical college in central Ohio started in Worthington. The Ohio Reformed Medical College was under the direction of Dr. Thomas Morrow. Dr. Morrow was a highly respected teacher who emphasized natural botanical cures. Like most teaching physicians of the day, Dr. Morrow knew that the best way to learn about the human body was to look inside one. So he procured bodies from paupers' graves to use in teaching.
Another body for Dr. Morrow? Yeah.
So he was digging up bodies to dissect,
But in Dr. Morrow's case, he neglected to obtain proper permissions from the families of the deceased to use their loved ones for anatomy class.
So I think it was 1839, this mob of Worthingtonians went to the college and confronted him, and I guess damaged it pretty good and basically shut the place down. So yeah, we had a mob scene here in 1839.
What I love about Dr. Morrow's story is it's got this really great level of creepiness to it, kind of PG-13. Well, it got me really curious about the era in our history about body snatching, because I know that there's more to the story, and this is what I found out. In the mid-1800s, the United States expanded rapidly, and we needed more doctors, but the laws didn't keep up. In many states and many countries, it was illegal to use human bodies for teaching. So to teach medicine, doctors had to literally break the law, and they hired body snatchers. And that's where the trouble began, because body snatchers sometimes brought home the wrong body. And in one case in Ohio, it was the son of a U.S. senator. The laws eventually changed, but for a while, mobs all over the country were running their local teaching doctors out of town, not just here in Worthington. It happened everywhere, and newspapers gleefully reported the details. So I got to thinking, how does our medical school teach anatomy to our students today? Have computers replaced the need for human donors? I sat in on anatomy class at OSU and talked with Assistant Professor Dr. Eileen Kalmar.
I tell all my students all the time, there is no substitute for the educational process in the lab. It's identifying the layers of different tissues and structures in relationship to each other. And it's fundamentally the humanity that we're also teaching. And that's what can never be substituted with a simulation program. There are a lot of great educational tools out there, but that's the piece that they can't teach any other way. We really work to the highest level of integrity, personal and professional, to maintain an absolutely transparent steps of procurement. The coordinator of our program, the staff in our program, everybody works every day as though they're taking care of my grandmother. It is very personal for all of us.
The body donation program is, of course, 100% volunteer-based. Over 200 proud Buckeyes sign up every year.
The students create an anatomy memorial service out of a profound respect and immense gratitude for the donors. A stranger that was so committed to their educational process, that believed in them so wholeheartedly, they gave the last gift they could. The body donation program is developing a statewide livery system where we will be able to honor the wishes of all Ohioans to donate to The Ohio State University. And we're hoping to have this in place before the end of the fall.
Thanks for being with us.
And remember, you can catch all our episodes on columbusneighborhoods.org.
Plus, see our stories on the WOSU mobile app, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
We'll see you back here next week on Columbus Neighborhoods.
Support for Columbus Neighborhoods is provided by
At American Electric Power, we've been proud sponsors of WOSU Public Media for many years and strong supporters of our headquarters city here in Columbus, both downtown and in neighborhoods like yours.
State Auto Insurance Companies, serving customers and communities for nearly a century. Today, a technology and transformation company. Risk takers, creators, innovators. A company defined not by its history, but by its people. State Auto. The Columbus Foundation. Smart philanthropy for a smart city. ColumbusFoundation.org. Bailey Cavalieri. Your relationship with your law firm doesn't need to be complicated, it just needs to be right. CODA. Keeps our community moving forward. Falgren Moortime Marketing and Communications. Think wider. Ohio Health focuses on you and your family with a mission to improve the health of our communities. And by contributions from these and other Columbus area families who support WOSU. Thank you.